Just everything. I'm
I hate
here.
going to him.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Well,
Yeah.
It's been my sugar's out of whack. I've been having a lot of problems.
Feels like, yeah, feels like.
So I'm still up 295 now.
This
I was up to 500.
Jeez.
They was ready to put me in the hospital with it, and I
I'd
only
say.
got it done.
This one.
Is this mine or was mine?
yours, I think that's yours.
Oh, duh. Anybody else? Okay, Jim,
No.
shut up.
Claims.
If this beeps, I'm sorry, but I gotta have it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he sure is.
Your medical health is important.
Yeah, unfortunately, gotta have that part.
Good.
Mhm.
We're thinking.
Okay, I'm going to call to order the Tipton Common Council meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item on the agenda are the minutes from the last meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the last meeting as written.
Second.
Motion by Rich, seconded by Rick. All those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Any amendments to the agenda this evening? Hearing none, and this is the second meeting of the month. We'll start with Board of Works and Safety.
We met today. First, we approved 3 street closures, one for the Diocese of Lafayette, for the National Eucharist Pilgrimage, one for Tipton on Tap coming up, and one for Friends of the Tipton Public Library, which is in September. It's a block party. It's something outside of their normal. Fire department, they're doing a lot of training. We have Ross and Schulenberg and Lucas Clark are finishing up their Fire 1 and 2 certs. You guys know about Engine 11. It'll be surplus. Ambulance 10 had some issues. I think it's fixed now. There's just lots of training, lots of stuff going on. Police on the police side, officer, I'm not even going to pronounce his last name. They call him Ludi. He's off FTO. Jackson Tunnell was approved by the pension board. Should be starting soon. Trice Huffman is in his 4th week at the academy. He's doing well. And we actually have an interview for a lateral transfer on June 10th. That'll put us finally at a fully staffed police department.
Sweet.
So that is good news. Kudos to the chief scout and everybody for making that happen. That was about the extent of the meeting.
Thank you, Councilman Creighton. Golf Advisory is next. Councilman Amon's absent this evening, so we'll get a report from him the next time we report out. Next is Solid Waste District. At that meeting, largely the discussion was about the growing pile of yard waste at the facility. So we actually were able to come, the city and the Solid Waste District Board are going to split the cost of getting that pile ground up and then hauled off-site. So it's become an annual expense for both solid waste in the city of Tipton. So we move forward with some plans to get that remediated. We expect that that's going to take place in the middle of July based on the availability of the contractor. Next is Street, Alley, and Sidewalk Committee. So mostly, I think Rick could remind me, but we talked a lot about the sidewalk improvement program, mostly the 2023 community crossings grant. Those projects are taking place this year. Should kick off later or in the middle of June, and then 2024's community crossing grant. Those projects are still scoping to get in place, but expect to have those bid out probably by middle of July.
And Mike said that he had been spraying all the alleys, and I've noticed that it's working.
Good.
It looked a lot better.
Next up is Planning Commission.
Lack of quorums, meeting was canceled.
Okay. Moving on to Utility Board.
Utility Board met last Monday in this room. The pipeline is going well. I think there's over 6,000 feet in the ground now. There was a safety training on the 22nd. I believe that was out at the the electric plant.
Mhm.
Things are going well with the utilities. I will say that Jim did mention they are looking for full-time for the water department and the wastewater department.
Okay.
Full-time employee.
Perfect. That concludes the committee report outs for this evening. Moving on to the next item on our agenda, which is actually under resolutions and ordinances. So before you, based on conversation I've been having with Tammy and the police or fire chief, and then the updates I offered you all at the last council meeting, this resolution 2024-09, a resolution of the city of Tipton Common Council declaring a fire department vehicle as surplus and authorizing the sale through auction.
I make a motion that we accept that.
Second.
A motion by Tim, seconded by Nate. All those in favor of approving resolution 2024-09, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Next up on our agenda is claims.
I move that we approve claims for payment 176506 through 176588 in the amount of $539,167.92.
I second it.
Motion by Rick, seconded by Tim. All those in favor of approving claims, please signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. We are now to petitions, comments, and memorials. Mr. Whitman?
Brad Whitman, I live at 224 Cap Street here in Tipton. A couple of things on what I'm seeing as a contractor. Most of you guys know the city of Tipton, Tipton County, is having a big hailstorm March of this year. I'm seeing a lot of out-of-town contractors coming in and getting homeowners to sign what is called a contingency contract. And they're pretty much sticking the homeowners with the contract and not doing ethical work. I've had a lot of homeowners that, and I know that some of the insurance agents as well has been fighting to try and get that dropped. I don't know if there's a way. I know the city of Elwood does it, but they have a license that you have to get in the city of Elwood. You have to pay a yearly fee. You have to give them a copy of their insurance. And if you don't have that license, you can't do work in the city of Elwood. I don't know if that's something that we can look into to get for Tipton, especially with us growing, that might be able to protect our homeowners and stuff. So that way they know legitimate contractors and stuff are out there doing the right work. Another thing I was going to bring up, but I don't know if I want to bring it up now, but they also, they have a soliciting permit that you get. Elwood, Noblesville, Fishers, Westfield, Carmel are all pretty much the same. It's $200 for like 90 days to get a soliciting permit. I know my company does door-to-door during hailstorms when we're in the area, neighbors and stuff like that. And for me to get one, it's 20. This code hasn't been updated since the 90s, is what I was told by somebody in the mayor's office. That it's the old code and it's $25 a day per person. So for me, every time I'm doing an install in Tipton, my guys are knocking doors and they could be out for 3 or 4 days. And I've already racked up almost $1,000 in permits throughout Tipton, Sharpsville, and stuff like that. I don't know if there's a way that maybe we could change the rate and update it to maybe if we're going to have it for 90 days, because we're doing a lot of installs, it's a flat rate. So that way we're not paying a lot of money. And then the other thing is permits. This, again, with the city of Elwood, they have if you are doing more than $2,500 worth of work to the property, you have to have a permit. Also goes back to the licensed contractor, making sure that the contractor's pulling the permits and the work's being done properly. I don't know if that's something that you guys are interested in, but I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention to see if there's any possibility.
Well, I've written down your feedback, and I appreciate that. It allows me to have some conversations with some of those communities you mentioned, and to see if that can help address. Certainly, the concerning one I think is that predatory behavior. So I appreciate that, Brad.
Yep.
Anyone else this evening? Roberta?
I thought there was a permit, not a law, but I thought through the planning and the zoning office, you had to get a permit for that very reason. People probably don't know it. My son was one of them. He hired someone to come and fix his basement area, and it ended up being more work, and they, someone, well, I won't say, drove by and said, this is not right, and went to the planning office. That's cool. I mean, you gotta follow the rules. It's the same way. People just don't know this stuff.
Sure.
And the contractor didn't know, or he feigned to not know.
Sure.
And I walked in the planning office and I said, I didn't know if you were just doing a repair on this basement stuff, that you needed a, well, of course, the contractor's there. And they're going, shh, shh, shh. I said, I don't care, you know? I don't care. He's not doing what he's doing, he's supposed to be doing. He needs
Sure.
to let people know what you're doing.
Yep.
So I don't know if there's a way that it can be reminded to people to check. I see people all the time starting to put fence up and they go, oh my God, I should have went to the planning office, and, you know, that stuff. But I just wanted you to know also that there are steps in line. People just don't pay attention. And I appreciate you bringing it up. Anything on the city? Budget numbers?
Yeah, so as we're getting close to the end of the fiscal year, those numbers become a lot clearer, but I can have a report as a part of the plan as we begin the budget season and see how we close out the fiscal year. So it starts roughly at the end of June. We'll start to get some estimates from the state, but we're working with our municipal advisor now, prepping for that.
Did anybody go to the grant meeting, class, I guess it is, grant writing class that was offered at the foundation this month from the city? No? Okay. All right. Okay. And I had a question about the street and alley sidewalk. There's a 2023 grant amount that is available for the sidewalks, et cetera. How much is that?
For the community crossings grant,
Yes.
we would have to check our notes.
I don't want to know the whole amount. I just want to know what goes to the sidewalks and stuff.
The sidewalk specifically, we would have to break down that bid packet to figure that out. There was, in that project, there's road work, mill and resurface, there's some drainage that's included, and then some sidewalk and ADA ramps. So I don't have a specific number on the sidewalk
Number for each
specific,
of them,
yeah,
how it's broken down. Okay.
correct. It's in the bid packet, certainly, but
Okay. All right. It's coming, right?
It's not, you're not talking about the sidewalk, the city sidewalk program,
No,
right?
I'm talking about the grant from last year that the city, the sidewalks can use some of that money.
Mhm.
Okay. I wanted to drop this off. I was in Seattle a couple of weeks ago, probably about 3 weeks ago now, and just roaming around the Seattle and Maple Valley area and some other little town that surrounds Seattle, and just looking at their outdoor area for the communities. And I know they're much bigger than we are, and I know at the last meeting, there was some question about if anything else was gonna happen over on Court Street.
Mhm.
And, I don't remember what the answer was, I'm sorry. I only have so much room in my brain for so much. But anyway, I wanted to drop this off to you because this is a much bigger city, but
Certainly.
our green space area could do better. I mean, it's not bad right now. The sod has done great because of the rain. And I
Sure.
walked over there today and walked the sidewalk and everything and saw where they're putting up the benches and the picnic tables and stuff.
Right.
But I think we could do.
There's more planned for that, correct?
There's a phase 2 and phase 3.
But
That's
it's not.
But like there was some other like cornhole boards, cement.
correct. So all
some
those
play equipment.
are getting installed.
They're actually working on them now. They've got the holes dug and pouring the bases for the
Yeah.
cornhole, I think.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, I didn't know what those holes were for. They looked awful close for cornhole, but
Well, I thought so too, but
I think that's it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Oh,
One more.
Go right ahead.
sorry. This young lady here brought to my attention while we were sitting out chatting, waiting for you all, that she had heard a rumor that the county was turning over the old jail and sheriff's building to the city. Nothing yet on that? No.
It's not an
yes?
active plan. It's part of a potential project. Yes.
Potential,
Yeah,
okay,
correct.
okay. All right,
Right now, it's still in the hypothetical stage, I'd say.
okay, just so it's not signed off on.
Oh. Anyone else this evening?
Andy Pumphrey, 306 Rosie Street. Does this council have jurisdiction over the plan commission? Like, the plan commission is a separate entity, but you guys, if there's something wrong, you guys would have a final say, or no? They stand alone with all of the decisions to be made?
What specifically are you referring to?
So, I know I sound like a broken record, but I don't think the engineer on the Mr. Krishner's expansion is working. I think the large detention pond might be working, but the smaller detention pond, it's awful. The standing water has been in it forever. Ducks are finding their way home. That's their new home. I just don't think it's done right. And I'm not educated in the topic, and you guys are probably saying, that crazy old lady, here she is again, but there's something wrong. It's not right.
Are you
So
talking
that-
about the one on the south end of the building?
Yes.
Between them,
That's the
yeah.
only one. There's the plan commission, Mr. Johnson said that they had to do this big detention pond and then a smaller one, and it would run off to Big Cicero. It's not right. The big one is working pretty like it's supposed to work, but the little one, I'm saying no.
Are they done with that yet?
No, they're not.
I didn't
And
think
that's
they
another
was.
Point of contention.
Well, I can give you a few answers from my perspective and anybody chime in. So the city council has final say on things like rezoning, changes to the comp plan. We have appointments to the planning commission, but we cannot necessarily tell the planning commission or that office directly what to do. They actually have a joint board, mayor's on it. That's part of our representation, county surveyor, that oversees that office. If something's not right, they have to conform at least to whatever was approved in the planning phase. So they have a development plan review, all that stuff. If that planning commission says you have to have a detention pond, it's up to them to then hold the petitioner to whatever those standards were. We can't necessarily, we can ask, we can say, hey, this seems wrong, we're getting concerns from citizens, but we can't go over and tell Steve what to do. Just like nobody on this council can go tell Mike Terry what to do, or Diana, or any other department head.
Okay.
That kind of is its own department head. It's actually a department outside even the city, so.
Well, then I'll go to that meeting and voice my concerns because it's not right. The water's gonna stand, here comes the mosquitoes, it's just a continuous problem.
I think last year, something like this was brought up.
We did it, we
And I
did spray
think-
for
I
mosquitoes.
think you guys
wouldn't-
agreed to spray every year for the mosquitoes.
I'm not in favor of that. We don't have the budget for it. It's not our job to spray watersheds for mosquitoes, frankly.
Right.
That's the drainage board, the Tipton County Drainage Board, or the Cicero Creek Drainage Board. I didn't fight it because Mike was told to do it, and that's fine. But we don't have enough budget.
I think
or
Mr.
anything.
Kushner ended up doing
I
it.
think
don't know
so.
that the city did it.
There was a time where Mike said, I'll take care of it. It was talked about kind of in a meeting, and I was just like,
I think
ah,
Mr. Kushner.
we just don't have money for
I
it.
think he did it. And the second thing I want to bring up to attention, I had brought up the deal with the handicap parking spaces, and I'm glad you guys are here this evening. I love the idea of having Food Truck Friday and the antique cars, but the way it's outlined, there's no handicap parking spots. You've taken all of them away. So like if somebody would go behind the courthouse and park, you can't get out because Court Street's blocked off because of the antique cars. Madison was blocked off. There's one there or two in front of the library. Could you guys relook at that and see if
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
something that could be done about that?
Yeah, that's not a spot I would use, so it would have slipped my mind. I appreciate you bringing it to our attention.
All right. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you.
And I'd like to mention real quick that car show, people everywhere going to the businesses. It was great crowd. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm Delora Rich. I don't know if this is the right place to be for this, but I'm a dog walker, and when I was growing up here in town, our trash was in the alley, and our dump truck came and picked it up. And now, as I walk my dog along the streets, I have to walk in the streets, because the trash bins are taking up the sidewalk where I'm supposed to walk. And people that have baby strollers have to, and is there some reason why the dump truck can't go down the alleys and pick up the trash?
At least that's been communicated to me. There's not enough clearance in the alleys to be able to extend the arm and grab the bin safely, especially with so many power lines in the alleys. But I do think you bring up a good point about access to sidewalks, and I'll have to do some research how other communities, because certainly this is a problem other communities have had with some automated trash pickup, but
I know some
To do
people
some research
just
on
leave
that.
them out there 24/7 too.
We do, I believe that is against the ordinance.
It is.
Yes.
It's supposed to be
But
7
enforcement is the
to
thing
7.
we talk about all the time.
Yeah,
I'll say it's 7 PM the day of pickup, and cans are supposed to be.
and I understand that, sometimes I myself, sometimes, I don't get out there to get it, but I don't leave it out there, 24/7, 7 days a week and take my trash out there too,
Right.
But still, when I walk my dogs, there's all kinds of trash bins because they set them out there the night before a lot, because
Yes.
they have to go to work the next day. So,
right.
okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
I got one more question. Is there a possibility, I know that the county planning department, they handle all the permits and stuff for city and county. Is there ever a possibility of getting back a city building inspector, code enforcement for just the city? Especially with the size and the potential growth that we're gonna have over maybe the next 2-3 years?
My opinion is yes. It's something that I would support, but it would have to come down to budget time, how the council would want to support that budget wise. I'm not saying I want to split like right away from the planning department,
Sure.
but I do agree. I think there's value in the city having either code enforcement and or a building inspector and or a city engineer full-time. But we'll have to find a way to pay for it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you have to have all three. You just got to pick one that you think is the most important.
Well, I know for the longest time, and just reference, because I did a lot of work in Elwood, but Elwood had one. So one lady done both code enforcement and building commissioner, and then kind of they would recoup, the city would recoup some of their money in permits and licensing fees. And if you have 10 or 15 contractors paying a licensing fee once a year, then all that money goes back into the building commissioner fund, be able to help offset the cost of having somebody.
Thanks, Brad. Anybody else this evening?
I had a few questions. I'm not sure if Tim or Mayor, you're aware that on the solid waste board last year, we did unanimously agree to split yard waste away from that board and just say if the county wants to do it, fine, the city wants to do it, fine. And I didn't know if you guys were aware of that, or the agreement was we'd have it done in 1 year. In theory, it'd be the end of this year. That is technically not in the purview really of the solid waste.
Right.
Angie, it seems it's a nuisance. It's hard on her operations.
Correct.
The city does own 12 acres right across that creek.
Mhm.
It's kind of a shotgun style property. So the ideas were floated that maybe we cut an access off of Market Road and maybe we partner with Green Cycle or something like, I mean, we were just trying to come up with solutions, but it's not really in the budget for solid waste to do that every year.
Correct.
We were always trying to just cobble together funds. And if the city wants to still do it, we should think about that at budget time too.
It's the first I've heard this information.
Yeah.
Me too.
And then that spun into yard waste toters because we are seeing a
Correct.
problem with yard waste flushing down into stormwater
Right.
and things like that. And so this is part of a bigger discussion. The other thing was the AIM workshop. I attended. It was awesome. Learned some things. And in that same vein, I am going to sit down. I know Keegan's working hard with the department heads and Tammy. I will meet with Tammy and Keegan about the council's budget, just specifically the council's. If you guys have anything of concern you want me to look at or us to discuss, let me know. I would use that
Perfect.
burn rate sheet that Tammy sent out to see if there's anything you think high level that we should hammer out. Of course, this will all come back to the entire council, but you know, like the marketing thing, I do think that's something the council should keep in our budget. That's just my opinion.
And thank you for that solid waste, because I did
Yeah,
not know that.
and you guys could always change course. You guys, it's a different board almost completely, except citywide.
Commissioners are still- yeah.
Citywide.
Right.
Is Joe still on it?
Mhm.
So I don't think Joe was on it. You two were not on it. I think just the three commissioners.
Okay.
Maybe Alice.
Hmm.
I think she was still on it.
Yep.
It's always been kind of a problem area with solid waste out there.
Anything else?
Thank you for the AIM workshop. That was very, very informative.
Good.
Good. I learned that the mayor can veto the budget. I did not know that.
He didn't either. Now we're
Something
done.
new I learned.
Yeah, that was so informative. It was crazy.
That's all right.
Tammy knew it.
We just override email.
We can. Yeah, it makes sense to know why it's there.
We just didn't have any donuts. I don't get that.
You were supposed to bring him.
No, we only got a few cookies.
I missed that memo, sorry.
I was gonna say, we only got a few cookies, no donuts.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Section.
Motion by Nate, seconded by Rick. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed? Meeting's adjourned.
Not the part. Oh, great.
Hang on.
Time for a nap.